Hi, this is Tony and Lati Casa Esmeralda, and today, no, we're not working in the garden, and we're not looking really after the chicks. They're doing great. We're working on the saw. So I got the brand new girl out and the Power Master, the Stihl MS261c out, and I took the chain off and everything. So you know how to replace your chains on your saw, and it's not about. So I wanted to do is to replace this guard, which sits here on top of your saw. So this is like your metal chain guard, and then this is all plastic here to prevent your saw from totally getting eaten. And you can see like some of the chain kind of flopping away there, and it took some pieces off. So this saves me a trip to town, because I actually got the parts before the summer, but I never needed to use the saw until like today or tomorrow, because I'm winter prepping now. It's getting into the first week of September, and I'm going to start needing firewood. I got some good firewood sitting back here behind the trees. I've been sitting there all summer, and I don't want the rain now to come. It's been drying out. They've been drying out good and stuff. So, well, let's get to it, and then we'll do some chainsaw maintenance here on keeping your saw in tip-top shape. So, I got some German Druckluft 67, the same thing, because I don't have a compressor, to clean the saw. So here, there's a screw here, which is the mounting screw for this, right? It's a screw right here, and this comes off, and it's a I tried several screwdrivers, so it's kind of one of the funny screws, like the star ones. So it's a whole different screw, so you may need a special tool. I was able to get it off with a slotted screwdriver, which is okay. It wasn't very tight on there. So we're just gonna get some Druckluft here. I'm gonna clean all this out. Make sure you really get in there good. And these bottles, you know, they're fairly cheap. You can get them off of Amazon. I got a little bit left there. I'm just going to leave that. But that's pretty clean. So you want to keep it clean, because you know these things, they can get pretty gummed up, and then when they get gummed up, then the dirt gets in there in the clutch and everything, and then you're going to need a new clutch. So it's very good to do this stuff now, because I know once when you get going, and once when you want to start cutting a lot of wood, you know, you don't have really time to really start mucking around with your saw and doing this and that, especially when do it now when it's warm outside, and then you don't have to do this when it's freezing cold. You get all your firewood cut for a few months, and then you're good and set to go. So this plate, as you can see, that there's the two screws here, there's 1 and 2, and then here on the plate there's the holes. There's one left and one right there, and then that plate, see that plate just mounts up, so it lines up with the 2 screw holes, and it goes back in there, and then it screws back on. want to have a good chain guard, you know, and you don't, like I said, you don't want to be mucking around and doing stuff to your saw. You want to get your saw ready in top order before the season starts. And as these winds start picking up now every day, the cold snaps are going to come starting October, you know, so you have a couple weeks. And if you have to order parts or anything, I would say order parts now in beginning of September, so you have a saw in October, because you don't want to be standing out there in the friggin' cold trying to do chainsaw repair work when it's freezing cold outside. So do it now. And it's nice outside today. It's a nice balmy 25 Celsius here, so it's pretty good. So I got a nice chain guard on there. You want to make sure that it's tight on there too, right? Okay. So it all lines up. And you want to periodically check all your stuff and make sure that you're all good to go. So I got some old chain here from last season. It's not very sharp, and we're going to go over doing some sharpening. And because I am now taking the chain off, I want to flip the bar, because when you're operating your chainsaw and you're doing this all the time, you're going to get waves in your bar, and this is to extend the life of your bar. So you see people operating their chainsaw and saying, oh, your chainsaw bar is upside down. It's not. Every time you change your chain or you open this up, flip your bar, because that's a good thing, you know. I'm just going to use a little bit more here, because there's a whole bunch of gunk on this. Thank God there's an Amazon where I live, or I wouldn't be able to do all of this. So anyway, I'll line this up, and if this chain doesn't work on me today after I finish sharpening, I got some new chains. So you don't want to put your teeth on backwards either. Steady as she goes. Don't want to be. Give her a few turns more, and then you can fish her in there. You want to get some tension on it a little bit so it doesn't fall out when you put the guard on. And there was also these plastic covers that I ordered too. And these also prevent your guard and your chain and everything. In case the chain does come off, this will prevent you from getting hurt. So it's a good idea, you know, that seasonally that you are replacing some safety parts on your saw, because when I worked in Canada, and in my early 20s, I was around a lot of saws, and I learned a lot of things. And some things, like these little safety things and replacing the guard, can really prevent you from getting hurt. Right? So prep your saws before the cold snaps come in, and then you should be alright. See? These guards and everything like that, and these are like the guard holders. So if the saw does a whack on you or anything, it comes snapping back at you, or the tree snaps or whatever, this is going to prevent you from getting hurt. Stihl does a very good job of making some really nice safety stuff for their saws and equipment. If you're not sure that this guard and that is on again, then go back and do it again, because these two things can save you from losing an arm and a leg, or a hand or anything, or the saw cutting into you. So we're chainsaw prepping today. You hear the snap? So that's in. So that's not gonna, if the chain comes off or anything like that, that chain's not gonna come out. And it's gonna probably not eat the saw either. That's the thing, sometimes the chain can come off so it's not going to eat the saw. So you're all prepped now to do some cutting and getting some real firewood going. So this should last you a little bit, depends on how much you use the saw and everything else. Well, it's a good thing if you're watching my self-reliance on YouTube, wear gloves when you're around sharp things, or when you're tightening, or when you're going to pull on something damn hard, because it's very easy to lose a finger, or even cut your finger very bad. All this chain here is very sharp. So you want that on snug, tight. That chain shouldn't have any, should have a little bit of slack. It's a little too tight, but I'm not really worried about that because it's an older chain. Newer chain will really slack out a lot. You put a newer chain on and in like a half an hour it'll slack out, so you go back and tighten it. And this one is a little too tight here right now, but I'm not too worried about that. I'd rather have it a little tight on than have it loose. And I can run it for a half a day like that and not have to worry about piddling around with the chainsaw. This is an old chain. Now I need my file. And I don't really like this Stihl thing that much, but this seems to work pretty good. Like, it's okay. It's not the greatest. So what I want to do is I just take the file out, because that's what you can do. You can take these files out. Just unhooks and snaps here. And you want to get into the hook of the point here, and you really want to give it a push. And your goal is to make a really nice point, like a really nice point and a really nice hook. And then when you work at it, so this chain is almost shot. So I'm gonna try today to give it one last life out of this chain. And I should have a belt marker here. And I think So remember, use gloves, because these things are still sharp, even if they don't cut the wood very good. That's a nice one. This chain is in really bad shape, actually. I cut a lot of trees with it. Cut old trees with it. Down 14 trees with this on one Stihl chain. You know, so I don't expect a lot out of this chain anymore, really. I'll be lucky to cut possibly anything. So I'm going to give it a try. And if not, I ordered from Amazon, from Talux. I ordered new chains, which was a great deal. I think it was 23 euros for 3 chains. And I'm dying to try these new Talux chains out. So, you know, I should probably get onto that today. And then do some real wood cutting tomorrow. But I got the gasoline and everything. I got everything all set here. It's a matter of getting the chain up and going. do one more. And turn it around, do the same on the other side. So I think we get the gist of it. I'm going to finish sharpening this chain, and the last thing I see if I can start a Stihl that's been sitting for 4.5 months. So I'm going to give it a try here. Start up a Stihl MS261 sitting for 4.5 months. Sure fire. Okay, so I think that was like 5 pulls, and it was on sitting about 4.5 months. So that was pretty good because there's no fuel in the line. The fuel in the line all evaporated, so it just needed a few pumps to get in there. But thank you, Stihl. I really like this saw. This is an awesome saw. It's a lifesaver around here where I live. In the cold days, it doesn't get that cold here in the South Adriatic, but it still gets, there's a few, 1 or 2 days it does snow, and it still gets down to 0 degrees, and anything that is at 0 degrees is a freezer. So the houses here don't have insulation, so they're just stone houses built totally out of stone, in and out, so my house can get very cold or very hot. So I really appreciate this, and it's going good. I'm gonna try fixing up with the saw over here and try fixing up the chain today, and then get on to chopping firewood for 2 months, get a nice pile of firewood here. Okay, so this is Tony Alatti, Casa Esmeralda. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for those who have liked and subscribed. Send me your comments or your questions. I really appreciate all the ones that have subscribed. Thank you very much, and have a nice day. Bye for now.